everyone's homework? Raise your hand if you didn't do your homework.
The homework was the 3 to 6 meetings, right? Okay.
Got it.
Yes.
Let's make sure there wasn't anything
else.
That,
I love that you added 3 to 6 because we just said 3.
Oh.
Go Tala.
Yeah, we said 3.
I had 6 in 2 days.
Awesome. So everyone got their homework in? Everyone's feeling in action? Love it. Okay, so let's hop into tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jessica Donatone, and I was on a flight last Sunday, so I wasn't able to join. But I'm going to kick us off here tonight, and we're going to talk about stories. So you guys have been around long enough to hopefully be telling your stories quite a bit. Who, by a show of hands, feels like they could work on their story? It's not 100% solid, room for improvement. Okay.
Always room for improvement.
Always room for improvement.
It changes.
So the key for you guys is that we just kind of finished what we were just talking about on the other call is kind of leading for you guys is that your story is so solid, but it's also so flexible, right? It's kind of like, as Destia just said, there's 30-second segments. And I find that to be so true. The more comfortable you are with your story, the more it can change depending on who you're talking to, as kind of the highlight of your story. The highlight changes. Does that make sense? Depending on who we're talking about. But I just want to share a couple insights from Paul Smith. He is the author of Lead with a Story and Sell with a Story. He has a podcast as well. It's good stuff. And I love his quote, "A story is a fact wrapped in an emotion that compels us to take action." So that's exactly what we're trying to do is tell our story and move people and inspire people to take action, right? To either jump on the shred with us or fill the gaps with Juice Plus or start growing your own produce because you can't stand what you have in the store or whatever it is. We want people taking action. So do you guys know of all the emotions? Because when we tell stories, as a storyteller, we are trying to evoke some emotions. People make way more decisions emotionally than they do intellectually. Can I get a yep on that, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So of all the emotions, what do you think the number one most effective emotion we can draw out of people telling our story that makes our story most effective? Any ideas?
Like fear or some fear of dying. I don't know.
I think it's hope.
What?
That would motivate.
I think it's
I'm
hope.
not talking to you, Tala. Oh my gosh, fear of dying.
No, I think it's
How
hope.
about fear of missing out?
I think it's hope to be able to change. Hope to change.
Mm-hmm.
Hope to change.
Yeah. So one of the ways that we can inspire that, right, is through empathy. So empathy is the big emotion that that people can kind of come alongside of you, shoulder to shoulder. They can, what we want people to do is to feel what we're feeling or see themselves in our story, right? Or someone else's story, so that they are in the middle of that story themselves. They're engaged that way. But that is the most effective emotion in telling our story. So we're going to do you guys want to do stories, product stories on this call, or do you feel like everyone's heard our story?
Well, the only difference is like we've always, like everyone on this call is an expert storyteller. I mean, everyone that I've seen speak so far, I haven't looked at everyone on the call, but I think most of them are. They're all leaders. But the thing that they're not expert at maybe is this whole shift of our new healthy living freedom, what it's called again?
Freedom Revolution.
our Freedom Revolution calls. And the 30-second, like a 30-second story is a shift, I think, for a lot of people, because every time, you know, I hear a story, it's a little longer than that. So the 30-second shift, I think, is really where maybe these leaders are going to get the art, and there's going to be a difference for them. I've never told my story in 30 seconds. This is the first time I've ever done it.
And it is like if you guys are familiar with the script, it is very, and Lindsay's gonna, White is gonna go over that next week. I'm so excited. But I did print it out, girls. Look at that. And I actually kind of went after it, did it kind of on a live scale tonight for our event. But well, let's go through. I'm going to share my screen here, and I just want to share this with you guys too. And I know that you're all familiar with the Healthy Living Revolution, or sorry, the mission-driven model.info, but you guys, they're constantly changing this and adding to it, if you didn't know this. And so I feel like every time I go to it, it's changed, which is great. They just keep improving it. But
yeah, it looks different today than it did last week.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So as leaders, we have to be on it every week, clearly. I haven't seen it this week, so this is my first viewpoint. Thank you, Jessica.
yes. So, and like I said, they keep improving it. So now how to share Juice Plus and get customers is all, you know, kind of put together here. And right here is the product story. So as you guys know, the story is the crux of what we do. I mean, it's just, whether you are literally, you know, in a 30-second elevator type situation, or whether you're sharing on a Freedom Revolution call, or whether you're we're passing by, whatever, this is the crux of what we do. It's huge. So creating your product story, these are, you know, the beginning, the middle, end. We know this, but this is something that if you guys want to take your notebook right now and to really, like Destia was saying, get it down to 30 seconds. Maybe you can write in the beginning, you know, your what was life like before Juice Plus, right? For me, I was taking bottles and bottles of supplements, not knowing that I was, you know, not really doing anything beneficial and most likely harming my body. Okay, so what life was like Juice Plus, just maybe write a phrase down, and then any negative emotions that are associated with that pain, or whatever was causing you that, you know, dissatisfaction, I guess. And then who brought Juice Plus into your life? What attracted to you? How did Juice Plus get into your life? And why was it attractive to you?
So Jessica, I have a question.
Yes.
So I don't really have a, like you had, where you, like, mine was just, I just added it in. Like, it wasn't, I didn't have a thing that was like wrong or that I was trying to fix. So I kind of get stuck on this.
Yeah. So and honestly, for me, that was the same story. I did not, like, I thought I ate pretty well. I didn't get sick very often, you know? So for me, it just made sense to me. That's what I say.
That's mine. Yeah. Okay. That's what I say too. Yeah. Okay.
So you just, like, I literally, like, looked at the research as a professional. Well, as a mom, I looked at the nutrition label and went, yeah, my kids need this. I have a picky eater who only eats carrots as a 3-year-old. But then as a fitness professional, the research, like, blew me away. And I just went, oh, I want all of that going on inside of my body. And that was it. So.
Well, and one thing for everybody to take into consideration while looking at this is, as leaders, this is super important for you guys to take your team through as well, right? So Tala, you might not have that component, but somebody on your team might very well, and they could use that to their advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also honing their story to 30 seconds is an art you want to build up quite quickly, so that because the first thing they're going to do is the Freedom Revolution call.
Probably this week, it would be probably, as leaders, you reaching out to your team to get them to like surprise them and get them to say their 30-minute because of that, or 30-second, because chances are they're probably not going to be super comfortable in saying, hey, can I tell it to you? Can I listen to it? So go to them and get them, surprise them, get them to do it to you.
And the other thing too, you guys, that we're doing, Jeff Olson offered on our team, and I had a handful of people take advantage of it, is I thought it was a really good exercise for people. I have people in my team that have struggled with their story for like years. Like they still don't feel that comfortable with it. And to set up a Facebook group and do your story as a selfie video 100 times.
Whoa.
And just watch it morph. And you're just talking to yourself, right? 100 times with feedback. The feedback from leadership doesn't even start until like the 20th one. So you're doing it 20 times without any feedback. And then we start to shorten it, make it concise, have the action be in there and all that good stuff. So that's something you might want to offer. Maybe it doesn't have to be 100 times, but even 50 times. Think about anyone on your team sharing their story with you 50 times, how solid that story would become.
And it's just an event between you and that person. Is that right?
So it's just a group. Yep. You just do a group, like it was like my team plus me, like my team member plus me, and then Jeff Olson. So it was just 3 people in there.
Oh, that's
You
a great
could even
idea.
set up a group just with yourself. In fact, that was the coaching I got this weekend, was to set up a group just with yourself, and every day do a live Facebook Live. You know, it could be telling your story or whatever, but just doing that practice so you get really comfortable in front of the camera for a Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Talking.
I say it's probably better to add one other person so you can have some feedback and a mirror in this for this specific. But yeah, that's a great idea. I think we should all implement that as leaders with our new people. Like, we're just going to set up this small group with a couple people, so that you can hone your story and you can do it at your time, right? So you don't have to meet with them. That's excellent. So that's great homework for our leaders, is to do that with one of their team members.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you down with that? It really is impactful. And to see the story morph and the just the comfort level of people speaking and sharing it, right? On the other call, I shared, like, I love this distinction that my husband uses as a coach. So for any sport, it is the science of, let's say, shooting a basketball, okay? The science of shooting versus the art of shooting. And I just use basketball because was my sport. So, you know, when you're first learning and you're doing it, you have to think about all these things, like elbow in and flick the wrist and use your legs and blah, 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 and breathe and exhale. And you're in your head a lot because you're still getting the science of it down. And if you do it enough times, it turns into an art, and you don't even have to think about it. It's just the art, and there's a rhythm to it. And the same exact thing applies to this story, to our story, is you just got to say it, and you got to say it, and you got to say it again, and you got to say it to more people. And the people that are still struggling are just not solid in it, just are not telling the story enough times. It really is just numbers. So you guys kind of got this here, all this, beginning, middle, end. How is it different now? Awesome. Any questions, you guys, about your own product story or helping your team? Well, let me go to this too. This is, again, it's under how to share JP and get customers. I wanted to point this out. What do you do for a living? And it has a bunch of great ideas. When people ask you, like, what is this that you're doing? Or, so what is it that you do when you're on vacation and you're meeting someone totally new? Cold market. Do you guys all have, you know, something that you say?
Those are awesome.
You kind of go,
Yeah, I could use a lot of good help with this.
Yes, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of
great. This is great.
is, you know, Jeff Olson has put together the whole health food agents. That example's not on here, but that seems to work well for men. For if you use that as a example of just like how a real estate agent and agency or insurance agent and agency works. You know, I'm a health food agent, and I have my own business or my own agency, and I help other people start businesses, virtual franchises, whatever you want to say. But this is a really important one too, you guys, to make sure that you have whatever it is that is comfortable for you. Does anyone want to share what their little answer to this that may not be on here? Anybody want to share? Come on, no one.
I say I'm a naturopathic doctor and a health food innovator. I make getting healthy easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm
say.
taking sexy back. I mean healthy back. I mean both. Wouldn't that be a good one? I'm taking sexy back. I mean healthy back. I mean both. You interested? Okay, so I want to share with you, and again, you know, this is a good one to get out to your team and make sure, and you know, this can change and morph this answer, you know, depending on who you're talking to. So, on to business. Any questions, you guys? So on the last one, building your team, okay, how to share the business, this first one right here, it actually gives the product story over here, work on your business story. It actually has product and business. So it's the one that we just looked at. And I wanted you guys to see this if you've never seen it. So they just changed this again when I went to look this up to do this little training here. This has changed recently as well using the acronym PLOT. So pain, lesson, opportunity, and triumph. And how, you know, your Juice Plus business story takes that action plan. Does anyone want to share their business story and be brave? The one they have right now.
I can share mine. That's Joy
Okay,
here.
awesome.
In this kind of format. I work in corporate America in sales and marketing. I enjoy it because I love being able to have products that help people. The problem is I'm 65 years old and I'm getting ready to retire. I've contributed to my 401k since I was 26 years old. And when I took a look at it recently in the last couple of years, I was shocked. Because I have a high-paying job, and I thought, oh, no problem. I'll have enough money to, you know, go off to Hawaii for the rest of my life. And I realized that I don't. But the good news is I realized at the same time as I started with this business almost 9 years ago, and I'm really grateful that I know that Juice Plus will sustain me through my retirement because I'll have my side hustle here, my plan B. Although recently somebody had told me not to share his plan B because it sounds too much like Medicare. And that's very close to my heart right now. So anyway, I am really, really grateful that I found this business model and that when I do get ready to walk out the door, I've got something that I'm walking into that I've been building over the last 9 years.
That's awesome. Good job.
Being brave.
Yes. So I love that. I definitely felt your pain. You had empathy. I was like, oh my gosh, you've been contributing since 26 and it doesn't look good. And that's how sad. So I think you just nailed it. Exactly what we are, you know, somebody's going to be able to relate to that. Right. And so many people do not have their retirement mapped out and do not have, not feel good about that, about that part of their future. So this is something you guys can print out and work with, you know, your team as well as making sure that you get your own. And then, of course, we have the opportunity to put together product and business because that happens as well. And let me just get this out of here. In those situations that we get to share both at the same time. But what do you guys, let me ask you another question. What do you guys feel like out of all the things, you know, whether it's the words that you say, the time that it takes, the energy that it brings, who you're talking to, you know, where you're at, what do you guys think the most important thing is when you're telling your story?
Did it be real and authentic?
Yeah, and that comes through energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely part of it. Yeah, we don't want, it has to be authentic because people will recognize that right away, that it's not your story, right? Or that you don't feel comfortable saying it. But our energy is humongous. And I'm sure you've heard Dr. Mitra Ray say, you know, time and time again, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And so we can get all, you know, paralyzed with not knowing or not thinking that we're saying the right thing. But really the most important thing is your energy that you bring to it. Have you ever... did you ever have like a school teacher or, you know, take your kids to, you know, the kids' library story time and have a really bad storyteller? Anybody ever have that? Where they start reading a story and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall asleep. It's either monotone or they're looking at their watch, or, you know, they're not engaged and they're not committed to the story. So we want to be storytellers who are bringing passion and excitement. I have an example of a home-based spa party business that I was a part of. So I went to this spa party and they did all the products and we did the little foot bath and all this kind of stuff. And then at the end, she was sharing the business opportunity, the woman who was running the party. And literally she was like, so I took this on as a business and it's been the best thing that I've ever done and my whole life has changed. And I was like, what? I don't believe you. Your face is not matching up with what you're saying. And so, Tala, exactly. It didn't seem authentic. And if it was authentic, her energy didn't match it. So our passion and our energy is the most important thing when we're telling our story. So don't get so caught up in, oh, I meant to say this, and oh, I should say this. Yes, we want to be strong in our story and have it flow and have action and all that good stuff. But truly, people just, you know, it's FOMO. They want to be a part of something that's going on. They want, you know, just like when Harry met Sally, I'll have what she's having, right? My husband and I talk about, like, if you got sat next to Jeff Roberti on an airplane, do you think you'd be a changed person when you got off that flight? Most likely, yeah, most likely. That energy and that interaction is going to awaken something. So that's really what I want you guys to keep in mind is just our energy and what we bring to it as far as that goes. So leaders, do you have anything to add?
We put it out on our group that we wanted to hear what these leaders wanted to know, and we got crickets.
Look at all of us.
So that's what I want to know. We got 4 minutes.
So the bottom
we're
line
still getting crickets.
there's this call is for you guys. We want to help you get to the next level. And so whatever you feel like your weaknesses are or your challenges, that's what we want to know, because that's what we want to address and spend time and energy around.
All right. One of the things that I struggle with is continuously motivating my team. I have a lot of team, and sometimes they do a lot of stuff, and then I get crickets. So how to motivate them and inspire them to continue down the path.
Question.
So motivation. Team motivation tools, tips.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and same thing. I'm along those lines. I'm starting to build team and how to work with them and train them. It's not my initial skill set, so I'm good at presenting the business or the product. But once I get a new team member, really getting them up and running successfully and trained.
Exactly. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, me too.
That's that I struggle with.
Is it the getting the team members or training the team members?
For me, both.
I could use
I felt
Both for me. What I have found is I keep having to recreate my team over and over again. So I might get a set on board and they will get excited and motivated and then fizzle. So I need to be building kind of more team at the same time. So I'm not feeling super skilled at doing either one of those things. Bringing team members on and getting them to sales coordinator, which is what my goal is. And get them to BF, but sales coordinator, not there yet.
Okay, so building sales coordinators.
Right, building sales coordinators, which is
Okay.
teaching them how to build team.
Build team, exactly.
Right.
Awesome, okay.
And I think that's dependent a little bit on my muscle for building team myself. You know, like if I felt really like clear about how I was doing it, then I could be more clear about duplicating that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How about duplication straight across the board? How do you duplicate what you are doing and the hard work that you are putting in? That's been a big one our team has been working on. I don't know about you guys, but.
Well, that's the same with us. We seem to have a gap from when we start people. We get people kind of, we either start people or we have leaders. Like there's not a whole bunch happening in between and getting those people to SC. So that's something that we're trying to work on as a team too.
Awesome.
So the tools that we will be, so this month, the tools that we will be talking about that I think will make it easier, I think the Freedom launch calls are really, really easy because that script is really good. Thank you, Lindsay, for your support in that. And Lindsay's going to be training us on them. And she's actually one of the people that started to implement, and she's been implementing it with her team for much longer than any of us. So we have a really great trainer on board for that. But that's something that you can train your team to train team quite quickly. And then we're going to be talking next about really inviting for the business, what to say, like all those different things. And so those two things I think might be already kind of in that mindset of exactly what you guys need. And then we can ask this question again in 1 month. When we've done those things and you've implemented those pieces, what's the next thing that you need? And so continually each month kind of think about what you need because that's when we plan what we're doing. Like we did today.
Good. Thanks.
All right, awesome, you guys. Thanks for your contributions. We're on it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for doing it.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to this. Thank you.
Awesome. So do we homework this week? What is our what did we write down? Same.
I sent it to you. I can look it up and see where
To do a 30-second pitch, not pitch.
No,
whatever story.
yeah. So you want to hone your 30-second story, but you guys need to work with team also to hone their 30-second story. So you're going to hone yours, and then you're going to work with 2 team members to hone theirs.
Both product and business.
Yeah. Bailey says yes. So there you go. Good job, Bailey.
All right.
Making your mom work more.
Okay.
And they have to share here, right? Next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone has to share their 30-second story next week.
Do you want the 30-second?
I'll be the
Business story?
quarter.
A business story or a product story or both stories mashed together?
Both
let's-
stories. Each of them have to be 30 seconds.
Yeah, let's do product next week. And then the following week, we're going to talk a little bit more about business stuff, and you guys could share your business story then in 2 weeks, okay?
Okay.
So next week, 30-second product.
Yeah, and sharing your story with 2 to 3 people, but also building the story with at least how many team members did we say?
You said
I didn't 2. Yeah, 2 team members. So
Yeah,
getting them to a 30-second story.
I know we're like right out of time and I don't want to change things, but would it be okay if we did do like a 30-second-ish of product and business with this next week? Because if we're going to be doing these Freedom Launch calls, and this group is leadership, this is the group that's going to be doing calls for their team.
Yeah.
So everybody on this call, their stories have to be ready to go, because if your downline is going to ask you, both of those are going to be shared on your launch calls.
Can I just say something? On the Freedom Revolution calls, your business story is 1 to 2 minutes. Your product story is 30 seconds, but your business story is 1 to 2 minutes. Just saying.
Yes. I think this group, just being leaders, I think they need to be I think it's pretty easy to rattle off your product, but I think that business story needs to be impactful because it's at the end of those calls. And just like Mindy said, it is 1 to 2 minutes long. So, because it's kind of like the closing of the launch call.
So it's still, I mean, business story in 1 minute is tough. Business story in 30 seconds is impossible. I didn't get mine to that, even though I was trying.
Okay, so then how long do you want us to get them to? 1 minute?
If you're going to get it to about 1 minute, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Takes practice.
Awesome, you guys.
You're practicing.
Well, thanks for being with us tonight. We look forward to hearing from everyone next week, and have an awesome, impactful, action-packed week.
And also
Thank you.
get your newbies going to VF on the Thursday night call. It is your jobs to invite them and inspire them to that regular commitment to be on. So get them there. I know you have them. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Bye.